This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. The following episode of BooBaes is a revisit to a review of Hell House LLC. The reason we're playing this is because we have a new show that is being executive produced by Caitlin and Josh from BooBaes called Abaddon Eyes. This podcast has everything to do with the lore and history and world that's being built within the Hell House movies. Enjoy this and be on the lookout for Abaddon Eyes.
BooBaes.
Okay, Heidi, hello.
Heidi ho.
Hell-o.
Hell-o.
Right?
Hell House. LLC.
LLC. You got to put the LLC on it.
Is what your BooBaes, that's us.
Are going to be covering tonight.
Yep. Joshua and
Caitlin.
that's right.
Ooh, I liked that.
That's us.
That
and
flowed.
we are covering, yes, as we just said, Hell House LLC.
2015.
2015.
Documentary style, found footage type of film. Slash, paranormal.
Yes.
Definitely. I would throw that in there as well.
Definitely paranormal as well.
At the heart of it.
I am about to sneeze.
So,
all right.
Talking about that LLC, yeah.
A slightly more well-received film.
Than the one we covered last time.
Yes, a
than
6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, a 75% on Rotten Tomato. Originally, it was like an 83 or something when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then 84% of Google users like this movie. So
I can see that. I saw it had like a 4-point-something stars on wherever I watched it. I don't even know. Amazon? I'm not even sure.
I watched it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
apparently,
that's where I watched it. Yes.
I think at least the second one is a Shudder exclusive, possibly.
And also, I guess there's different versions. I hope we watch the same version. There's like an unedited one and then like a...
Oh, I just watched whatever the fuck was on Amazon Prime.
Pretty sure it was the regular one.
Cool.
But
what did you watch?
No. Also, well, the thing is, too, for our viewers, if some people want to watch and maybe don't want to pay for anything, I found it on YouTube, literally, on Popcorn Flicks, and the whole movie is on here.
Oh, wow.
Like, it has some ads in there, but literally the whole movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a great place
I was able to go back
that.
today and, like, go over, like, because I watched it on, only Tuesday. I watched it yesterday, but, like, earlier in the day. And so today I was able to go back and be like, oh, yeah, this part and that part and that part and this part. Anyways,
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I watched it. I watched it this morning, which is on brand for me to do so.
Like, imagine if we had a screen here and we were filming this, we could be like, and this part.
And it's
that
we don't have to deal with copyright issues because Popcorn Flicks has already done shit for us. I mean, it's free to the world. It's free to
I was really surprised when I found that on there, and I was like scrambling. Like, I actually, like, for the first like 20 minutes, I was like, because I'm thinking like, okay, like it's gonna like chop some parts out, or it's gonna like be glitchy, or they're gonna reverse. It was literally the exact same film.
Wow, that's nice.
The exact same film.
That is nice. This film was directed by Stephen Cognetti.
Cognetti, what a name!
I know.
Cognitive.
It
Cognetti.
sounds like some sort of pasta.
Yeah, it does. It's
Netty.
giving me pasta.
I think it's the netty part.
Like with the eye.
Spaghetti. And produced by FBI Films. And it follows it's a documentary that is following a group of haunted house creators, aka Hell House LLC.
Yeah.
It's a traveling house.
They've been doing it since 2002, I believe is what they said in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've all around New York. And so each year they create a whole different Hell House, depending on where it is. Like they mentioned Queens at one point.
That's right.
Some other
We don't
things.
mention Queens.
Yeah, we don't mention Queens.
Yeah.
That's what they said. I don't know what the fuck happened in Queens, but it can't be worse than this.
Hopefully, maybe that's what happened at Hellfest.
Yeah.
And then we don't talk about that no more.
Oh, yeah, maybe. This came out first, so.
Yeah. The way that could have been pretty cool. But there is actually sequels to this, yes.
Which I believe are on, like I said, I think it's a Shudder exclusive.
Yeah. I actually started delving into like a little bit of like looking into the sequels, and it just dives even more into like the owner, the original owner of the house. Yeah.
It gives you kind of the backstory because a sequel, Hell House LLC, to the Abaddon Hotel. And so that was released exclusively on Shudder on September 20th, 2018.
Shout out to Shudder.
And so that was, and that was all, it was just the history.
Giving you the backstory on like why all that was happening there.
Yeah, because we got little like bites of it here and there from the very almost harsh cut that were made because, well, it was a documentary literally in process.
Yeah.
Very much like Autopsy of... No, not the Autopsy of Jane Doe. Exorcism. Nope. Fuck.
Which one?
The one with the old lady in the snake mouth.
Oh, yeah, Deborah.
Deborah Logan. Taking of Deborah Logan.
Miss Debbie.
I was like, damn it, I suggested that film too.
I love Debbie.
This
many
is
moons ago,
one
so it's all right.
I really did enjoy the first time I saw it. Was this the first time you'd seen it?
This is the first time I've ever seen it.
Okay.
I've heard about it. But yeah, I
thought it was interesting enough. And there's some parts that really freaked me the fuck out. Like that clown. Hard fucking pass to that thing.
There were some parts for me exactly that with all that little clown that wasn't supposed to be moving but was like ending up all over the plaza. And no, that was pretty scary. There was the one part that really got me too, where I mean, I guess we'll get to it, but like with Paul, I mean, poor Paul.
Paul
had all these his disappearance.
That one actually had me like hiding behind my pillow.
And even the first time, whenever we first get the interaction with him at night there, and you see like it's red, and you see and he's like
just person walking,
he's sleepwalking, and that was like really creepy. That scared me.
I don't like when you can't see the face. Yeah, makes it scarier. But the face that they had on that girl at his disappearance was scary creepy. Because it was realistic.
And it also had me even finding myself like last night, like, and even when I was outside, like looking over my shoulder, like, cause
I purposefully did not turn it on last night. I was on the phone with Andrew until I basically passed out. But like, I was like, I don't want to watch this at nighttime. I mean, of course, I still woke up at 6 a.m. and so it's dark and watched it.
But that's different because daylight comes, you go about your day. You know, it's not like it's into the night. Yeah,
exactly.
I watched it. Like I said,
good thing we're talking about this to go to sleep later.
Yeah. I might not be sleeping. We'll see.
You got a big day.
Yeah. So let's see. I guess we'll get into the movie because it starts with them opening up with.
It gets right into it.
Yeah, basically talking about how it's a documentary and something happened on...
Yeah, it says what you're about to see is basically based on true events covering the 2009 haunted house incident in Abadon, New York. And then, hence, the name of the Abaddon Hotel, it's named after the town.
Yes.
So it's a little bit upstate New York, I believe.
It's 40 minutes away. I remember him saying that.
Oh, yes,
Alex.
40 minutes into the city. It was not actually... filmed in New York. It was filmed in like
where was it?
Pennsylvania. Yes.
Six Flags.
The Abaddon Hotel does not exist in real life, but was filmed at the Waldorf Hotel in Layton, Pennsylvania. What the fuck name is that? Is it just a very weird form of Layton? Why they put the I there? I don't like that.
I think someone misspelled that.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's got to be Layton.
Layton, Pennsylvania.
Lehighton. Otherwise, that's what it is. And
Pennsylvania, run by Angie Moyer, who served as the film set designer. There are a lot of things in the house that I was like, oh, that's cute. And then I was like, I think I got one of those over there.
That's totally all the spooky spook.
Yeah, that was the other reason. It was like, I literally collect clowns. And of course, none of them are that menacing, but I did
also life
get
size.
A new
That's
doll
life size. That's life size. That's different.
Yeah, that's true. This doll I got, it was from one of my employees. It was from her like grandparents' house. She literally drove it up to Waco in a trash bag because she was like, I can't with this. I have
dolls that I need to give you.
Oh yeah, give them to me. I'll give them a home.
And I don't know why I didn't think about it.
It was really amazing though because like this doll sat in the bag for a little bit because I just couldn't. I was so busy. Anyways, I unbox it. It's literally the same doll as Annabelle.
In anticipation.
But
Oh,
she's like more
clothed.
complete.
And look at
but
the
then
eyes.
also, yes,
That's my favorite part.
she like literally looks worse, but then
That
also looks.
Look at the mouth.
She has all of her she has all of her limbs, unlike Annabelle. And then she's clothed.
That is so cute.
Annabelle's
though,
like
actually,
little
Annabelle is just freaky as
knees
fuck.
And
I'm
her
sorry,
cheeks
Caitlin.
are more well. Yes, I know.
She's
when
creepy.
when I put her up, Andrew goes, "We have to have 2 of those looking at us now," and I was like,
Well, at least Annabelle's eyes, I'll give it to her, are normal looking. This new girl.
"Yeah." I literally sat down. Andrew must have thought I was so
One of
crazy
her
because
eyes are literally rolled up.
in her head, yeah, and the other one just is white. I sat down in front of Annabelle and I said, "Hi, if this upsets you, let me know. But I think, would you be okay sharing your chair?" Is what I asked her. And so I was like,
sure.
I'm gonna put her here. If something like if you don't like it, just let me know. But
Not in a menacing way.
yes, I was
It's
like,
nice.
but I think she could be a really good friend to you. She's very similar to you, so just be nice.
Just put some coffee grounds in front of her and she'll spell it out.
Fuck you! I hate this bitch.
Literally.
No, but so far so good. They've been sharing a chair now for a few days, and they can both look at me.
Cute.
So that's fun.
No, I have a couple dolls, but someone gave them to me. But yet, like,
They're all haunted.
well, no, I just feel like it was a friend, and she's cool, but like, I meant like, like someone gives you something, you kind of feel like, well, I can't give that away. But like, honestly, I feel like they would serve you better. Do you know what I mean? Kind of situation.
I
mean,
do.
because they're in the back of my closet. Sorry, they're in the back of my closet. Like, because they're creepy.
I will give them a good home.
Yes, that was like, they need to be in a home where they can be like with their friends.
Yeah, literally, what other person
like-
would somebody send this picture to, and they respond, "Yes, oh my god,"
Yeah.
because she sent me the picture, and I was like, she was like, "Would you be interested?" And I was like,
Oh,
"Yes."
immediately I see you.
And then,
that.
okay, so the way she was in the bag, she was in a trash bag. When I opened it, her head was like twisted
Tilted up?
up to the opening, and I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Oh my god!
I literally was like,
I would have
"No."
screamed.
Andrew was like, "What?" And I was like, "Just come look at this view. Come look at this view."
Wait, but like, do you have a name to her? Have you, or are you just letting her pick a name?
Yeah, I don't know.
She's
her
gonna
name
tell
yet.
you her name. In a
Yeah,
dream.
like Beatrice
She's
said
gonna
in a
come
dream.
whisper it to your.
I've had
ear.
another doll tell me her name in a dream. Y'all, I'm weird. Okay, anyways, the Abaddon Hotel
Abaddon
is very...
Hotel.
I could furnish the Abaddon Hotel.
Yes, you could.
Slash
and it
my
could
house
furnish
could
your house.
Easily become a haunted house if it was bigger.
It could be.
Yes.
Depending on the bright lighting and with the proper strobes and all of us
Also,
in there
yes, strobe
spooking
warning
people.
to this movie as
Oh,
well.
very important. Yes.
Even worse than
This is Hellfest, like 2.0.
There was a
times
lot of
on
strobes.
steroids. There's a lot, yeah. Because I mean, I give it to them. You going into it, I mean, it's a haunted house.
Yeah.
So, but yes, just be forewarned if you have photosensitivity that it could trigger you because there's a lot of strobes, especially during one middle scene.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's all it's really focusing on. Like,
Because
it's
in the
playing on
strobe,
that,
something's moving.
and you're having to really pay attention. So yeah.
Yes, and it's the fact that it is a found footage film, I feel like makes the quality of the strobe more realistic.
Yeah, because it's like right
not
in your
like-
face and
yes.
it's not saturated by anything else.
Yeah,
no
it's
effect.
not
It's like
softened by any sort of anything. It's just
Yeah.
like, this is a motherfucking
light
strobe
in the camera.
in your eyeballs. Yeah. But so basically, we're going off. We kind of see these two people trying to get into this house, but we haven't really
Established
we don't really
like who they
know
are,
who they
what's
are.
going on. But obviously, you can already tell from the get go. It's like these are like the
documentary
documentaries. Yeah,
people.
yeah.
And then
Give me very Deborah Logan at the beginning when they're like around the house.
yeah,
you know?
looking in, it did give me those vibes a lot. And then so then it kind of flashes to witness accounts saying they have no clue what happened. That one girl is not a good actress.
You want me to tell you what happened? I don't know what happened.
I was like, okay.
I laughed so hard at
But then
that
I was
delivery.
like, maybe is she a good actress though? Just trying to be a bad actress?
Oh my god,
because
it was so bad. Yeah, that
like,
makes sense. Maybe.
if somebody was
But-
asking me well, I don't think I would. She was like smiling. Oh shit! Tornado watch means one's touchdown.
No. Tornado warning means something is actually touchdown. Tornado watch
Okay.
means that it could touchdown.
Okay, I always get them confused, and so when
Yeah.
it tells me, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
And we're right in the area where the last one hit about 60 odd years ago.
Yeah, biggin, a biggin. But yes,
I guess we're safe here, to be honest.
I know this feels safe. Yeah, we're pretty surrounded.
All right.
This is a good
Anyways,
area.
If y'all
but yes.
hear like loud roaring in the background, you guys.
I can hear the rain.
Yeah, that's what I was
actually
hearing through these. That's why
yeah.
I was like, what is that? They say it sounds like a train when it's coming.
Y'all, we are in a soundproof room. We have headphones on, and we can still hear the rain outside.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
insane. October 8th, 2009 is when Hell House opened its doors in Abadon, New York.
Yep.
Basically, we're getting to see this recovered YouTube video.
Footage of like an opening night. It's following some friends. They're going. They're really excited to go in. And when they finally get in, basically they're not even in for like a good minute.
Yeah, like it's like right in there.
And it's pretty to give y'all reference too. I mean, this is all happening like we're going deep. This is happening like 5 minutes into the movie, so we're already getting like
Oh yeah, they like hit you right off the bat.
Yeah,
it has a very it all happens fast with a great build.
Yeah,
I think the ending feels rushed to me. Yeah, so we're really only 5 minutes or so into the film.
The movie, and we're getting this chunk of like getting to see what happened that night, but yet not really.
Yeah,
but basically
you're getting a taste again, a little bite.
They're this friend group that goes in, and then all of a sudden chaos ensues as they're getting to the basement of where is this haunted house, and then people are literally just rushing out and running past them, screaming. And at a certain points, even before that, there were people running past them.
There were actors running past them.
Who,
the clown runs. One of the clowns runs away, and they were like, "I don't think that was supposed to happen."
Yeah, and then
we see Sarah
run past them.
But you don't know it's Sarah yet
until later at the end. Yeah.
Because I was like, even though I've seen this a few times, I think this is probably my third time seeing it. I was like, who the fuck was that ran past? And I was like, why the hell do they know where to go? And then I was like, at the end, I was like, oh, right, that is Sarah. And then I kind of forgot the ending, maybe because, again, it does feel a little rushed. It's very bam.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
it does really at the end kind of very much just climax. And it's the way it because it does it climax.
It reminds me of Blair
because there's two
Blair footage.
Because there's Blair Witch.
Because
there's kind of two endings in a way. Yeah.
Exactly. And so it kind of reminded me of that. But people running away, they're trying to get downstairs into the basement, and then the girl is like, we can't get down there. No one's moving. And then all of a sudden, then they all start trying to push up the stairs.
And they're like, let us get out. Yeah.
And there's too many.
Which is crazy.
People are freaking the fuck out.
Yeah. And then they're freaking out and they're trying to run out. And it's the way that it takes them a bit to get out because there's it's obviously a maze in there. It's a haunted house.
It's a literal maze.
And so they're
it's dark,
trying to get out. Yeah.
Disorienting with the strobe lights.
Exits aren't even really exits. Yeah.
And it's for those of you who get motion sick, this is a hella chaotic scene as they are escaping. We literally trip. With them, for sure. And we're on the ground with them. So you're getting.
Yeah, I mean, if you do get motion sickness, no shame, because me too. And so it was a little bit of my head was a little at some points, but it's all right. I managed to get through it. But good little. Let y'all know about that. But yeah, it is. You're in the chaos of it. Everybody gets outside, and finally you get outside with this group of people, and then it's the way that even out there you start hearing the ambulances coming. You start seeing the commotion of all the fire, whatever,
fire
ambulance
engines.
People, first responders coming in.
Find out that someone had called 911. Yeah, and there was a recovered 911 tape.
Yes, that they play. That doesn't elude or give any kind of. It doesn't help.
It was very. It was obviously very panicked.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people are in intense situations
like that, you're very shock.
And the fact that this is quite literally paranormal and stuff, it's
because she's saying something
someone was pulled into the wall,
and they're trying to make sense of what he's saying, and then it's the way that it gets distorted, obviously, all paranormal stuff does to technology, the effect, and then it cuts out. So you don't really get much from it, but obviously, I mean, you hear the panic in her voice.
Yeah, she sounds terrified.
Yeah.
And yeah, even my notes are someone was pulled in the wall, ? I don't really know what happened.
Yeah, I didn't get what that meant, but okay. I think maybe from later on when we see it's not necessarily, maybe not the wall. Maybe they're talking just about what's her face being and she was
Melissa or something.
Yeah, the actress. I forget
I
her
don't
name.
remember her name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then come to find out, literally gag orders were put on everything. They wouldn't even really talk to the victims' families.
Like they were not even giving any kind of like, this was what happened. Like they were just like, they're dead.
They're dead.
Okay.
We're not going to talk about this. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Which
We
is
don't talk about
crazy.
Queens. We don't talk about
We
Abaddon.
don't talk about Abaddon. For real. Poor people, poor families that,
That
like,
would
they're
be a
just
cute
like,
shirt. We don't talk about Abaddon. Yeah.
that'd be really cute. We can
should
put that
make
on
that.
our little notes on our merch.
We've got so many shirt ideas, y'all, that we'll never
We
make
don't
for
talk
you.
about Abaddon.
We've got a deputy daddy shirt that's like
Yeah.
on a little
true.
deputy badge, a sheriff's badge. That would be so cute.
That would be really cute.
I don't know.
All the BooBaes kind of things we could do.
Yeah, with the
that,
BooBaes
with the boobs
and like kind
all
of One
it.
Punch Man with the little under
yeah.
boob things.
Oh,
Yeah,
the little ice
So
cream
many
man
things.
too.
You'll never get them unless
Y'all
you
just,
make us
yeah,
famous.
literally. And if y'all just like, just let us know if you want it. At that too.
I'd wear it.
So would I.
They sound
We're gonna be
cute.
buying our own merch.
We would. I totally would.
The Abadon. We don't talk about Abadon.
We don't talk about Abaddon.
People are gonna be like, "What's Abaddon?" And we're like, "We don't talk about it."
We don't fucking talk about it. Can't you read the goddamn shirt?
Literally. And so yeah, we have all that footage happening. The people are all freaked out. We had the 911 call, and then what? What are we doing?
Find that it kind of cuts back to where
Oh yeah.
they're interviewing like I believe it's 3 people. One is the girl who is who we could see from the YouTube tour goers video.
Oh yeah.
That's who she is. It took me a hot second to like put it
girl
together.
chick, yeah, she looks different, does she
She
not?
looks remarkably different.
A lot different.
So I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure this is the same girl, but I'm also not.
Yeah, but it was her playing the same character.
Yeah.
If it's not, yes.
She just had a lot more makeup on or something.
Maybe.
Or, I don't know. It's been
She
5
did-
years.
It's the way that it did throw me for a little bit because I was like, wait, is that the same girl? But it is.
It
And
is, yeah.
yeah, I guess maybe they're playing to age. Like
Yeah.
maybe they dressed her up more maternally because she did like
a little bit more mommy.
yeah on whenever she was coming back for that interview.
Yeah. We are also interviewing a writer or author, I believe someone who was trying to cover the original incident, and then a photographer.
Yes.
And this photographer was covered and interviewed mainly because he breaks in and we get a little bit more of an idea of what happened
Yeah.
with his pictures that he provides from the house. So we see a bunch of blood everywhere.
Bad juju.
Yeah, just the very eerie
vibes.
photos, things that are very unsettling,
Because
and
then that later on it
clearly
shows,
something bad happened.
like bloody handprints on the walls
Yeah,
in
and,
the
like,
basement
the
and getting dragged away. Like
yeah.
dragging to hell.
and like when you're
literally.
dragging a dead body, like the
Of
the
a-
strips.
That's
or
right. Yeah,
streak.
the streaks of the
What is-
blood.
what is the word?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can really, it obviously something bad happened. And he's talking a little bit more about it. And he was saying, like, even when he got to the basement door, he said the basement door was blown off the hinges. And basically, he was not about to go down there. And
Yeah.
he pokes his little camera around and just goes, tick, tick, tick.
Click, and probably bolted out of the house.
Yeah,
I just
I
even
would.
go in there
Alone.
Oh, that's scary. That is so
Knowing
scary.
15 people
And-
died there, it's gotta be. And the original owner.
and
hung
to be
himself.
in there like just taking pictures like that's like I'm getting scared
by
right now.
yourself.
Yeah. The guts, literally oh my gosh. But so he does that, and it's the way that he's like, all what they were told is like, it was some sort of freak accident, some gas leak or something.
Yeah, a gas leak
They
is
could
kinda what
never-
they said.
He had to cover it
But
up.
gas
and
leaks don't cause
yeah.
you to bleed
None
and
of
then
those
be
things,
dragged
yeah.
away.
And so he was like, obviously there were things that were not being told, and so they're all still trying to get to the bottom of it. And then finally we have
And that's why this documentary is even happening. Diane
yeah.
Graves is our documentarian. We are also following her crew that is Mitchell and Jonathan, I believe. And they're trying to get to the bottom of what happened. And again, I believe this is 5 years later.
It is 5 years after what had happened. So that was 2009, right? So this would be 2014.
Yes.
And so
right
yeah.
before the movie came out.
Yeah, they're kind of going in order with the years.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But then we flash to Sarah Havel, I believe is her last name. She was a member of the Hell House LLC.
The crew.
And she had agreed to meet with the documentarian Diane Graves for an
But
interview.
it's the way that nobody has seen her since this incident.
Yes, yeah. And she looks pretty fucked up. Like, she just looks...
Yeah, in a like kind
mentally-
of like unstable way.
Yeah,
like,
very skittish.
Yeah, she's been doing something.
And dead eyes. Her eyes look dead. / she seemed like almost as if she was in a daze.
Yeah.
Like, for a lot of the questions,
get
it was
she
like...
seemed like she was half asleep, half like
Yeah.
the whole time, like Like she was being controlled by something else.
Which?
Something
Spoiler
like
alert.
that. Something like that. But yeah.
But she says basically that the gag order was a smart thing because what happened is too hard to process.
People wouldn't be able to handle the truth.
And then she fucking sets down a bag of tapes
Literally,
for them
the way
to
she
watch.
just like plops it up. I expected like a head to be in there. The way it like was just like
it was like a
plop.
It was like
And
a little
like,
sad.
and how
like,
she howled it like that.
howled it.
Yeah,
She howled
you
it.
guys don't know
right
me.
out
I
in
can't
front of
talk.
my face.
And so yeah, no, it was crazy. And then it's the way that they're like. She's like, everything you need to know is on here. And then they're like, have you seen these videos? And she's like, no.
And then I'm like, well, then, bitch, how do you know?
Literally.
But
I don't even know what any of that is.
I guess because she knows that Paul was filming the whole time and that they had cameras set up. But it's like, yes. And then she says, well, I got to them before they did. Because they asked how
she's
the
like,
police
why didn't you turn them to the cops?
Yeah. And then she basically, I mean, I guess it makes sense with the gag order happening. Like, you want it. So at this point, like, I feel like it's still very... She said that she had been staying with family and stuff. So like
there's still like
I would go underground after something like this and watching
traumatizing
my partner hang himself. Yeah. And then
Hello.
literally all my friends die. Like
everybody.
I would again just want to be dead myself, which well she is. So that's good.
No.
But yeah, so she just has the tapes and then Jonathan comes by or Mitchell does, I don't know. Mitchell comes by and he's like, shoop, I'm going to go watch these.
Because he's going to watch them. Mitchell's the one that watches them.
And then so basically we're, I guess, seeing through almost Mitchell's eyes. We're watching these films with him.
Yes, which is basically the footage of what Paul was taking, who was a crew member of the Hell House LLC gang, and he's basically documenting, the month prior, everything
46 days till opening night, August 23rd through October 8th.
Basically, the behind the scenes of them getting the whole haunted house together.
Yeah, because they can post it on their website and stuff, get people excited for the house, things like that.
Alex said at one point that they go back and watch it
to see what they can do better, improve upon, / what did work really well, like what scared people.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And I mean, like always, we have to have a reason why all this is being filmed.
Yes. And this was, sometimes the reason is not great.
Yeah.
This one was a perfect setup.
Yeah.
Really, it's
sense.
like,
yeah,
okay,
sure. Yeah,
I believe this.
Reason, okay, yeah. This is not like we're just like, oh yeah, this happened, whatever, baloney. Yeah.
It's like, no, that makes perfect sense.
It's a good setup. Yeah.
And so sorry.
No, you go for it. Because then we're getting introduced to.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing everyone. I don't grasp their names until a little bit later aside from Sarah and Paul talking.
Paul, Sarah, Alex, Mac, and Tony.
Yes. And
I like Tony.
Yeah, I did too.
Poor guy. One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is him just in that grass field. And then poor guy.
I have so many questions about that scene. Me too. What the fuck are they talking about?
I don't know.
I was like,
and we never get told what
I wonder
it is.
if it's Alex knew the actual history
of what had happened there. But then I don't know if that's because then why is it like he's like we have to say and like why would you have to say?
Yeah, like why haven't you told Sarah? Like I don't know.
I was getting more like,
or if he knew what happened to Paul.
I don't know. Or if I don't know. To be honest, what I was getting
so many questions.
Was like also too like maybe even like. Because it is like Paul's company, but yet they all work for him. Like he like basically like put all of their investment into this. Basically,
so they can't leave.
Bankrupt them. Basically, they have to make all their money back, or else they're screwed.
That makes sense.
That's what I was thinking.
That would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, because that's the
good.
That's what the vibes I got from it.
Yeah, they did seem very desperate in the moment.
Especially Alex. Alex was all about like we need this to work. We need the money. We need this to like what do you know? And that's why I'm like he was. And he was desperate.
Very ready to let Tony go. He was like, bye, okay, leave.
He was ready regardless of anybody. He was like, this is going to happen whether or not.
Yeah.
But
also I think probably all of these people have such a strong bond that I imagine
they've been working together for years.
His like Tony reacting in such a way, I imagine has probably never reacted quite as strongly as this because this was a very intense situation. But I believe that he probably was like, he'll calm down, he'll come back around.
Well, even because he said, and even not that, whether or not they have a strong bond itself, him and Mac, apparently, because he was
they've
like...
been best friends since they were children.
Exactly. And he was like, well, if you're staying, then I'm staying.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then Tony and Paul were their first hires.
Yeah.
And then obviously Sarah's Alex's partner, and she's been doing this for a long time with him as well. But yeah, so we get to the house. the stuff that happens in the car is kind of irrelevant. You can tell that there's some tension, but they get there, and the first thing that we get to see is that creepy piano.
Yeah.
And Sarah's like playing a little ditty on it.
Yes.
And that piano comes up a lot
Throughout the movie.
It does. And they're basically looking around.
They're looking at everything. And basically, I mean, everyone but like Tony and Mac, they're all like, well, this is a shithole. Like, this it's how are we supposed to get this working? And Alex is the one that's like, no, don't you see? Like, he's like, this is basically half the work done for us. You know?
Which it's true. The props and stuff, it already was very creepy looking. Yeah. But yes, basically Tony was like, you said that this was abandoned, or maybe it was Paul. He said this was abandoned, not condemned.
Yeah. Because it's going to take a lot of work just to even go, like, it took them a week to get the electricity going.
Yeah, Tony was like, this is going to take me a long time. And they were like, you can do it.
And it's the way that it's like only 46 days till, opening day. So he's like trying to figure out, how am I going to do this in such a short amount of time?
Exactly. Yeah. But Tony does it. He gets that electricity up. There is Paul. Yeah, he's recording everything. So we don't see his face a lot until a little bit later on. Yeah. But they're basically, then we're following through. It doesn't quite, maybe it does tell us like what day we're at by that point. But
yeah, because it's really little. It has little subtitles that ever so often come up. And it's not like very like
basically
it's not
a
like
large jump of time.
Yeah, because it's not like 5, 10, 15, 20. It's like 7 days, 3 days, 20 days left.
Yeah, it's not a consistent
chunk of time.
Yeah. And basically the place is wrecked. There's some weird radio interference that's happening on the walkies, which is already a bad sign.
Oh, already, yes.
Technology
whenever they're trying to like talk to each
bad.
other. Yeah.
They're in the attic. They're exploring, and so a group of them are in the attic. It's Paul and I think Tony. Who are up there, and Mac and Alex and Sarah are in the basement, and there's this weird radio interference that's happening, and they like can't tell what's going on. It sounds kind of like, is there screaming in that?
It sounded like a screaming.
Yeah, like a sort of wailing. Imagine like a sound of hell.
Yeah,
the sounds
literally,
of hell. People wailing. Yeah. And so then they're like, okay, well, fuck it. We'll just go down there and see them in the basement. And we get to the basement, and well, it's creepy as fuck.
It's pretty creepy already, because already we have a whole like pentagram or whatever you call it on the wall, and we have Bibles on the floor.
Yeah, they were like, what are all these books? And they were like, that's a Bible. And they were like, that's a good sign. And then they're like, all of them are Bibles.
Yeah, and it's why Alex is like, well, it's a hotel. There are always Bibles. I'm like, but like, okay.
Like
Sarah made a good point. It's like, well, who put them all down here?
She's asking the right questions, and she's being like, this is creepy as fuck. Like, this seems off.
Yeah. Alex is basically gaslighting everybody this whole film, because they're all like, this is wrong, this is crazy, this is supernatural, and he's like, no, and you're just
don't
scared.
Talk about this.
You're just scared. Yeah, hush hush. Yeah, a lot of it.
And he wasn't telling them the history for sure. He wasn't doing that
from the get go.
Yeah,
because we find out whenever the actress comes, and then at that point, but even before that, there was something that happened. I think that makes us know that, but well, because we already know, because the freaking documentary people are telling all this shit.
Yes, we haven't found out quite yet that the former owner Andrew Tully had hung himself, but we will find that out in a little bit. But yeah, so then it basically cuts to them sitting at the bar, because it was a hotel, there was a bar, and this is where they're talking about like, we don't talk about Queens. I guess
they're having a very friendly moment, reminiscing, talking about
the Lucifer that they had in Queens. Had a very like
the accent.
The accent was, I can't do a Queens accent for you, but it was very much like Welcome to the Gates of Hell, but like with Queens.
With that
Queens accent. And so that's that was pretty funny. Yeah. And we kind of figure out a little bit more that they're typically located in like New York City proper.
Yeah.
What is typically known as New York City.
The city. Their Hell House was probably somewhere, a few blocks away from.
Oh yeah, probably one of the little houses nestled in between the high rises.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're talking about all that, and it's like a lot of other like found footage movies where you have the friends groups, like a lot of even what we saw with Blair Witch, and even with like some of the VHS saga, like little clips, short movies, like you have that moment where everybody's being really cheery and high ho hum, because obviously some stuff is about to go down.
So they gotta give you a little bit of something before they just wreck your day. But then it cuts to Paul sits down with that Hector right? Was the
The
creepy
little
doll's
dude
name?
at the piano. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, we're going to play you a song.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, so he's like, come on, Hector.
Yeah.
And he plays this little ditty, which is the one that comes back multiple
Throughout the
times,
movie, yeah.
2 other times throughout the movie. So it is important to pay attention to the sounds that are happening there. How you could not pay attention to it, I don't know. It's very...
Yeah. It's creepy.
It's an out-of-tune piano. Any out-of-tune piano is going to be like, meh.
And even Paul himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. His character's very polarizing too. So you would just be following and paying attention because he's kind of such a like in-your-face character.
He is.
He's just like, I mean, he's like hits the wrong note and he's like, come on, Hector.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
And you want to laugh at him. He's also a little bit
A little
of a pig.
pervy. Pervy at sometimes.
There was sometimes where I was like, Paul, you got to
Crossing
stop.
the line a little bit.
Speaking of which, the next scene is him laying down in bed. And the scene that you had mentioned earlier, but he's basically talking about how like Alex isn't going to share Sarah.
Oh, Sarah. Yeah. He was like, I was thinking this is going to be more of a, what do you call it? A sex something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he was
he was like,
going to be getting some.
But now it's basically just all these guys and one girl.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I'm hoping that some of the other actresses will be hot.
bangable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is when it's on his face and there's like a red exit light, I guess, illuminating the hallway behind him. And he's laying like on his stomach on the bed, recording himself. So you can, and the mattress is on the floor.
And I'm assuming he's one of those.
very temporary.
And it's an old camcorder, I'm assuming. So it's the way he's got it facing towards him. So he's not even, he doesn't even have it flipped to where he's watching himself.
So he can't see what's happening.
See what's happening behind him.
So he's talking for a good while as we see this shadow figure.
So creepy.
With massive hair.
Yeah,
like a
massive
nest
shoulders,
of hair.
like just like a brood of a person just coming in. It looks like Hagrid, like Hagrid's shadow.
Yeah,
is literally like there, and I'm like, bro, do you not see this?
I don't know why. I think
talking.
It's because of the girl that comes in later that I thought it was just a massive tall chick. And then I was like, she just wants some too. You were talking about wanting to get boned.
And that's
she
what
said,
she came for.
I'm here.
Well,
and then you were like, are you sleepwalking?
Yeah, because he's like, Sarah. And then he's like, are you sleepwalking? And he's like, okay. Because it just walks back out. And then he's just like, that's fucking weird. And I'm like, yeah, bro. That's
it
really
is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Because that's not Sarah.
Literally. It was so creepy. It creeped me the heck out.
That was very creepy. Like we said, when you can't see the face.
It's like I already sometimes enough like on my when I'm in my room, like
I can't
closet,
have my
like
doors
the
open.
door, like something, like something's in the corner. Like I'm like, I have to sleep with like my back facing the wall and watching everything else. Otherwise, it's like
my back is like the head. My headboard can't just be in the middle of the room. I don't understand people who can like have empty space around any part of their bed.
I feel that.
I used to have my like bed pushed against a wall, but now that's not as. What's the word? Interior design.
Oh,
like
yeah,
cute.
Yeah.
Not for an adult.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like in the middle and have little nightstands
on either side. Yeah. I was like, I ain't gonna be big kid now. When I was watching the movie Demon House, which is the fucking Zach Bagans, his fucking.
I've never seen it.
No, it's dumb as hell.
Okay.
I also just hate Zach Bagans, but I also love him, and
Who's that?
I can't stop watching Ghost Adventures.
I don't think I know who that or what that is.
The one where they like belittle ghosts. And he's like, "Fucking come and get me, ghost! Come and get me!" Like he's an asshole to the ghost, and his fucking affliction shirts, and he just looks like a tool.
I'll have to look it up. I don't know what that is.
But Demon House, it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And I was watching it to go to bed one day, as you do.
Yeah.
And it's about obviously this house that is possessed and or has like essentially a portal to hell, as they all do.
Ooh.
And it like going through and following the story and stuff, like he had bought the house and was living there and staying there. Anyways, that night as I was sleeping, I had this dream in which I was like in my bed and it was like I was awake and I just
like
watched my
dream?
door slowly open.
Oh, that's creepy.
And it was like closed. Ooh, and I was like, that is a little creepy.
It's like a sleep paralysis dream almost.
Yeah, but my door wasn't actually open. But that was all the dream was.
But sometimes that's enough. That's
so then I was like, oh, fuck, did I just like literally invite something into my house? And then I was like, or what if I was having a bad dream or some bad vibes and Kitty's ghost came up there to help me? Maybe. And she opened the little door.
Oh, that's true.
That's the one I'm going to go with.
That's when you just keep the good vibes and just think, no, I deny anything negative. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Deny all the bad juju.
You would think that my room is probably the safest place because there's no dolls in there.
Maybe it's not.
I like to sleep
they're
with
all
my
downstairs.
dolls. They give me company. Yeah, they fight off the bad
They
spirits.
scare all the bad spirits and they go upstairs.
Annabelle's like,
because there's no dolls upstairs.
Not, bitch. This lady gave me my own chair. Now she's making me share it, but I still like this bitch because it looks like me.
Literally.
I'm gonna steal her clothes and probably her arms. Oh,
we'll
fuck.
find out.
Oh, God. If
they
she
start
woke up with the
transferring
other
bodies and souls.
I would die. Anyways.
Yeah. Where were we?
He wakes up and he's filming. He's going up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
We see he's being a fucking creep.
Pervy because he's recording Miss Sarah and her undies, and he knows that he shouldn't be doing it because he's being all eerie, creepy about it,
Like,
and then
kind of
finally
peering
goes
through
in.
the door. Yeah.
Yeah, and so then of course she's like, "Oh my god," and covers herself, and then Alex is like, "What are you doing in here?" And he's obviously wanting to look at Sarah, but he tells him that he has to tell them that the actors arrived, which is two of the actresses and the other dude, Joey, have gotten there.
Exactly. And so we kind of get to see them a little bit, and he's again being a creep.
The way that girl looks up
on the
at
girl,
him, and it's the way she looked at him that first time, and then I'm like, this bitch is gonna look back up at it one more time, that long gaze, and then she does it again, and I'm like, I knew it. I already knew it.
I fucking called it.
I knew it. Anyways, yeah. So we're meeting them,
but then it cuts to the back again to the author guy that we're interviewing, and he says a first responder actually no, it might have been the photographer. A first responder ended up breaking the gag order and kind of speaking about the incident. And he says that as soon as he got in there, the first thing he saw was that one of the staff members had cut their throat or had their throat slit. And then he said it looked like a self-inflicted wound.
That part.
And so it's just a little tidbit that they give you again. And then
just
it cuts.
Showing that something went horribly wrong.
Yeah, that this was not obviously a gas leak.
And at that point, we don't know who it is either that they're talking about. So at this point, we could think any of these people that they're talking about.
Could be that person. And then it does cut back to Joey. They're talking about, they said one of the staff members did survive. And it was Joey, who was the main big clown guy who's down there to protect the damsel in distress. Who is literally chained to the wall, which is very unfortunate for her when all this shit happens
just
right there.
Bait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Joey fucking dips. He's like, bye.
Yeah, literally. I would too, Joey.
Yeah. But he survives, and he had the key to unlock her too, which is why she freaked out so much. Yeah. Is because if anything went wrong, he could unlock her
out.
And he didn't.
He just literally bolted and left her.
And so he survived, but 9 days later he was found dead in his bedroom, and he had hanged himself. Yeah. And so that was very sad. And so essentially,
that's crazy.
We think no survivors except for Sarah who we are currently speaking to.
Which is still super weird.
Yeah, exactly. And then so they go on, and I believe this is where. Oh, I believe this is still an interview thing. They're telling us a little bit about the owner of the Abadon, Andrew Tully.
Oh, yeah, because they're like, we have to take it back to the beginning, the owner, Andrew Tully, because then they found out that he, we then find out he had hung himself, right?
Yeah.
In the dining room area.
Because things had not, basically, so things kept happening to the guests of the hotel, and so much to the point. And you got so much negative reviews.
I jumped. I'm sorry. Yes, because we found that out when he's talking to the girl. No, at this point, something had happened to this lady and her young daughter, and they went missing.
I wrote it down. So an 11-year-old girl and her mother disappeared in the hotel, and because of that, business died after that, and he hanged himself in the dining room because. Well, everything went wrong.
It went bad, even though he had cleared himself of what had happened. Because of course, since he's the owner, he was able to provide that they had signed out or checked out.
Yes, he provided information that they had, and then.
But he's evil.
Apparently, Abadon is the name of a demon that guards the gates to hell as well. So wait, is the city named after the hotel then?
No. The city was named.
So it's
first.
Okay.
He built the hotel. I believe.
I thought
he bought into
said
it or something.
He named it that because he was super into like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
satanic cult, but maybe he just bought it
he moved
because
to that city because of its
of
name,
that.
because it matched that name that he liked,
And then
because
named
of
it
that, and
that.
then named the hotel that. Yes,
I see. Yes. And so, yeah, he was apparently into all the demon shit. And I didn't
he
know
was trying
that.
to open up the gates of hell.
Yeah, basically. And, well, obviously some things went wrong. At one point in the middle of this, I just put Paul is a piece of shit. LOL.
God.
It must have been when he was harassing
the girl.
female actress.
Oh yeah, because they're there talking, and it's the way that she kind of slightly mentions like, "Oh, you heard what
The missing
happened to the
guest
missing
and-
guest
yeah.
or whatever," and then Paul's like, "What?" And then Alex is like, "No, nothing happened. Those are all rumors. It's just stories."
Shuts him down.
Yeah,
And that's how we figure out basically that they have zero clue about what happened in this hotel previously.
yeah. And even the guy, the author, he talks about, I think right before that, how like, I don't think any of these people like had done any research about like what had happened before they took this over.
Exactly. Yeah. They just went into it blindly.
Yeah.
But then, so then they go down there, and this is where we get to meet the clowns. And that one clown, our main clown,
Yeah.
something about him just
It's scary.
freaks me the fuck out.
He's really creepy.
He's probably one of the creepiest clowns I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I think it's something about his like slightly hunched build, and then his Bert
Bald
and Ernie.
head. Yeah.
Which one's the one with the like little tuft of hair at the top? I don't not the short one with the longer nose, but
Ernie.
the tall.
No, Bert.
Bert.
That's Bert.
Okay,
Yeah,
he
'cause
kind of
Ernie's
has
the
that
short one.
head shape.
Yeah.
you know.
See, I was getting more
Unsettling.
like a mix of or what's the dude from the Addams Family, but like scary.
Oh,
The uncle.
okay, yeah.
Fester, but like just like creepy.
Very
like,
creepy.
Very creepy.
And bloodied.
And
Or
bloodied up.
It's not even bloodied. It's like a tar, like
Yeah.
a black. It's like a blackish
Goo.
blood goo coming from the eyes and the mouth
Festering.
/ the smile. It's just very unsettling.
Yeah, I don't like it
And-
one bit.
And
the way that at
especially in the
this
middle
point-
one, hell, nah.
Yeah, and at this point, it's very like we have to know at this point, because they make it very abundant and clear that this thing cannot move its head.
Yes.
It cannot turn its head. It will a lot of amount of times throughout this whole
Turn
movie.
its goddamn
but
head.
It will, but it's not supposed to.
Because
and they
it's
keep telling us that, and it's
it's
not
a
supposed
dummy.
to move. It's a dummy, and it's not like motion or anything. Like it shouldn't be moving.
It's very much like if you had
A mannequin.
a mannequin
Yeah.
whose head was just solely connected to the shoulders, no little crease to move its head at all, no little neck connector thing. If you just had one solid bloop,
Yeah.
there's no ability to turn its head. Two of them were supposed to be props, and then the middle one is the costume for someone to wear and sit there, aka Joey,
Yeah.
to sit there and be
And
like,
protect the girl.
"Rah,"
Yeah, and jump
out
scare at
and
people
scare them, and then
right
protect,
before they walk out.
make sure no one's gonna like fucking grope the girl.
Anyways, yeah.
Um,
So scary ass clown.
Yes, and so basically, they. Oh, what? Oh,
Your notes are probably better than mine.
okay. So Paul heard a strange noise, and they're all awake to
Oh, yeah.
investigate.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so basically, they're going around. But then my next note is, oh, what the fuck? No, to his eye being pulled halfway out, which is when Joey has
Joey,
that
yeah,
trick.
because he shows them what's happening. What his little party trick is. He can push his eye out.
Yeah. I think maybe I went back to correct a note, and then maybe that one got in the middle. But yeah, so basically Paul heard a strange noise, and they're all
Yeah.
awake, and they're like,
What the
well,
fuck was that?
obviously we heard something.
Yeah.
And I think someone said it sounded like screaming coming from downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they tell Alex or something to like stay with Sarah, and then Mac, is it Mac and
I think it's just
or Tony?
Tony and Paul.
No.
I don't remember at this point because there's multiple times that they go downstairs.
Yes, actually. So at this point, Paul,
All of them.
Alex and Sarah had gone into the city.
That's
this is
right.
in the daytime.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Alex and her went to the city, and that's whenever.
So I think it had legitimately just cut
Max
from
is
nighttime.
and I remember too because Max reading that book, and I'm like, why are you just reading a book there of all times? Just
I
reading a
know,
book.
and like Hector's sitting there at the piano.
Yeah,
and it's like
yeah.
that's kind of a creepy thing. And then he was just like, "So Tony's the only other one here, right?" And he was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, he must be
they thought he was in the basement.
in the basement."
Yes, And he's not, because then Paul is walking through. He's like looking at everything. He's like, oh, that's scary, making little funny little comments about the things. And then he finally goes and he's looking towards the basement, and he like turns, and there's the little freaking clown there, just
big
propped
ass
up,
clown.
the big clown.
Not even propped up. He was just standing
there, and he's like, oh my god, like he gets a little jump scare, and then he's like, good one, and he's like, what are you looking at? Because
he thinks
clown's
it's Tony.
he thinks it's Tony, like wearing the whole thing, as like wearing the mask and everything. And he looks downstairs, and then as he looks back up at him, it's freaking head is turned, and it's looking at him directly, and he's like freaked out, and he's like, fuck, good one. And he tries to laugh it off. He's like, okay, when you're ready to work, call me back and we'll get to work, you know. And then he walks back, and then he sees freaking Tony with Mac.
And I think, I don't think he calmly walked. I'm pretty sure he was like, fuck, no, fuck.
Yeah,
and like
he was already
ran a little bit. And then once he heard Tony, he started sprinting.
Yeah.
And was like, what the fuck, Tony? You were just over there.
Yeah.
How are you in here now? Like, lost his mind.
And then he runs back, and obviously, not there anymore.
I put Paul rightfully freaking the fuck out.
And that's when he's like kind of accusing Tony and Mac of like, trying to play a prank on him. But they're like, we don't even know what you're talking about.
And to the point where they go and review the tapes.
They have to go look at the footage with everybody. Even Alex and Sarah are back, and he shows them, and it's the way they're like, oh, once they see that it actually turned its head, they're like, what the fuck is that? Like, what's happening there? But then it's like,
they're like, they think Paul is playing a trick on them.
Yeah.
That he has edited this footage, or like he set it all up.
Yeah, because then at one point they accused Mac of helping him, or someone of Mac of helping him.
I think it would have been Tony. Because I think Tony and him were closer.
That's right.
And so, but yeah, because they were kind of the guys
the new hires, the ones that came after.
Yeah, and they're kind of the construction guys. Like they help put in all the cameras and all. They're like the behind the scenes dudes. But yeah, very fucking creepy. Then it cuts to them hanging up the Hell House sign, which we got a little glimpse of at the beginning on the ground. It was like covered by some leaves and stuff.
They refurbished it.
Yeah. And I think that was at the beginning whenever because the Abaddon Hotel one, but at the beginning, beginning when Diane is breaking in, you see the Hell House,
you see it on the floor
sign, on the ground. And but yeah, so basically they hang that up, and then they're kind of doing a test run of the house, and I guess they put like a
little
GoPro
camera on top of Paul's head.
Yeah, and basically are like, okay, well, take us through the house. Like, let's see what this is. And it starts with the strobe lights going, and he's starting the thing, and then all of a sudden he doesn't get very far.
No, it's basically already,
like he gets down the hallway.
That's literally it. And he starts the strobe lighting, and he's like, all right, he's like asking them like, wait, how many dummies are we supposed to have?
3, right? And he was like, how many dummies? And they were like 3. And they were like, he's like, are you sure?
Because we're watching that there's 4.
Yeah, there is a 4th person.
Yeah, and I'm assuming it's the clown, right? It looked like it at times, but then at times it looked like something else.
Yeah, because they pan in on they like slow down the stills for you later, and it's a different. I'm kind of getting the vibe that maybe it's
like a demon, supernatural, like a ghost,
or that it's possibly Andrew Tully. I don't know.
His soul.
Yeah, because it's kind of a man in a suit, and his face looks a little not quite like I would imagine someone hanged, like not like bent neck lady. His face looked a little bit like more smushed, kind of like the clown's face.
Yeah,
but it was a little more square, like it got squished this
Subtle
way, like down.
Yeah.
Because the clown's face looked like a little bit longer, like it was squished in sideways, and his was squished in down. So he had kind of a square head.
love how you're like doing
Yeah, no one can
hands.
see these hand motions.
I love that. But
I need you to understand.
Yeah,
Everyone
I see it.
Yeah.
It's the way that he's in there though, and he's freaking out at this point because he's like already had some weird shit happen to him, and so this is happening. He's freaking out. He's in the dark, and he's yelling at them and beating on the door to let him out, unlock it because they locked him in there. And so finally he gets out, and poor boy, like just starts throwing up because he was so freaking scared, I believe.
Which is like, okay, sure, Paul has like been an asshole in the past, but if a grown man who does this for a living,
who's going through the links to prank all this hard of like actually making himself throw up or like,
and it wasn't like a lot of throw up, like it looked like bile.
Yeah,
like it wasn't huge amounts of food or anything. It's not like he like prepared to throw up stuff. Like we are seeing like a very desperate like.
He's just
he was freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
A grown ass man who does this for a living and not easily spooked. Like he volunteered to go through the house alone. and then he comes out throwing up. Yes.
Caitlin's
I'm
mad,
gonna
you
fucking
guys.
believe him. I
Caitlin's
am.
mad. She's team Paul.
Team Paul. Paul
Yeah,
really has
everybody's
it.
ignoring
Paul
Paul.
gets fucked.
Yeah, he really does. Poor Paul.
Poor Paul.
Yeah, because then after that, like you said, they do the little slowdown where you kind of see the little stills of the like what the little face it was.
They
of
kind
the
of give you
demon.
each like flash of the still as it's moving like closer.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of disappearing from some too, though. So like you'll get one of the bright flashes and it's there.
And then it's not there, and then
And
it's
it's
there,
closer,
and then it's not there,
and a
and
little
each
bit.
time it gets closer to you. Yeah, yeah.
So it's just creepy.
It's really creepy.
And Paul is basically like, nah, something else is happening in this house.
He's really not having it at this point.
And Alex was just like, no.
He doesn't care.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
everyone, as I think one of the interviewees
Yeah.
says, was so loyal to Alex.
I think that's what the author was talking about. Yeah, none of them wanted to leave because like they said, they'd been doing it for a while, and I think that's when it explains like that him and Mac were longtime friends, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They'd been together for a while. Like, I mean, this was their group.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we cut to another waking moment where people are awoken from their slumber.
Paul is right because he's like, I heard a noise.
Yep, it's Paul again, and I believe it's Mac. This time
is there because then he comes out and he's like, what was that? And he's like, I heard a noise too.
and
then
the fucking clown is at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
It's just like
it's really fucking scary.
staring at them.
Yeah.
No, and then the way that
Mac accuses him of like, did you put that there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor
But no.
Paul.
Yeah.
And then Mac just like walks
Walks
right
down
by
there,
it.
and then Paul's like, be careful, and he like just like, it's a prop, it's a mannequin or whatever, and so he's like just like picks it up and is like dragging it basically.
And I was like, oh, don't
Yeah.
touch it. Don't touch it.
I know. And then it's the way that then they turn the corner and they fucking see Sarah.
Yeah, they get down
Like,
the stairs.
just like
She's
facing
staring
the
at the
wall.
wall, and she's mumbling, and it almost
and like
sounds
gibberish,
like she's
like
speaking reverse.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It sounded reversed.
It felt reverse.
Reverse.
At this point, we had already seen her like weirdly staring at a statue.
That's right. Yeah, because they were filming some commercial.
A commercial, yeah. They didn't want to give away the haunt, so they were outside on one of the benches, and
She's
it's
having
like
this
a
moment.
It's a religious statue of sorts. It looks like a mother, like Magdalene, Mother
like a little
Mary,
angel, something like that.
kind of thing.
And yeah, they're doing all that outside, and then they're kind of look at her, and then you can tell
just
she's like in this
staring at
moment.
it, yeah.
And I mean, they call her name, and she's like, oh, hey, yeah, but you can tell she was like in a trance. There was
Yeah.
something going on.
She doesn't even really
Something's
like.
affecting
She
her.
just looks at
Like
them,
she didn't
kind of
even
smiles,
notice,
and walks off.
She didn't realize she was there.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, and then so when she wakes up, she's freaking out,
Yeah.
as anyone
She's
would.
like crying and like freaking out, and then
Mac's trying to comfort.
yeah, and then they literally turn back around to where they had left the clown, and it's not there
Fucking
anymore.
Clown has moved again.
Yeah, and they're definitely freaking out at this point. So they start running.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh my
Everyone's
God.
freaking out.
Yeah, they run through, they get through like what, all the way to the kitchen area or something like that?
I
or,
think it's somewhere where a
something.
grandfather clock was,
That's
because
right.
then it chimes.
yeah, it chimes, and then they're looking in the dining room area, and they're all freaking out at this point. And then they turn around and they see the clown again.
It's blocking their way
Yeah.
now.
And so, yeah, at this point, you just hear them all hyperventilating. They're freaking out. You just hear Sarah kind of crying, screaming, freaking out.
Yeah, it was
And then-
very.
Yeah, and then
unsettling.
it cuts to the morning again, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
This house is creepy AF, and it's
Yeah.
very clear that Paul is not as excitable as he was previously.
Oh, no.
He looks worn out.
Yeah, because we get to we cut to the next scene of the morning, like, and he's kind of like from the van filming whatever Alex is telling Sarah to console her, because they're obviously still staying, and then we
And
cut
she's
to
clearly looking
Yeah.
fucked up too.
yeah,
They both
and
seen
because
some shit.
that's whenever Paul gets on the camera and he's like, we're from my point of view, we clearly shouldn't be here, but we're gonna stay here, and poor Sarah, she doesn't look good.
Yeah,
and she
he
usually
says
does
she
look
doesn't.
good.
Yeah, he makes a
but-
little comment.
Yeah,
so
but she
that was
doesn't.
on brand for him.
Yeah.
but yeah, it's clear that, and well, they are being targeted. Those two specifically, especially Paul.
I think Paul, because
but
he has the
Sarah
camera
is as well.
I
yeah.
know they have cameras everywhere, but I think it's because he's the one that's like literally he's filming everything, and he has more of an eye on seeing everything, whereas
Yeah.
everyone else, like, everyone's busy doing stuff, getting the whole house together.
But he is quite literally watching
Everything,
That's
yeah.
his job.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, he's poor Paul. So basically now, though, it cuts to Paul This is it.
Oh my God, the scene, yes. So it wakes to it because poor Paul, and it's the way that
he just
because
wakes up.
he had signed off on the one right before. He was like, all right, his little catchphrase. He's like, sweet sleep or something like that.
Sleep tight, sleep well, sleep sweet. I don't know.
He says something, and then it's the way that like it cuts to him waking up again, and I'm like, oh no, he did not get a sweet sleep. Poor guy.
Because there is some creepy ass girl sitting against his wall, like legs straight out,
just
like a doll,
sitting on the floor. Yeah,
and he's kind of like he hadn't noticed her quite yet. And then he's like, oh, and then he sees her and he goes, oh, fuck.
Drops the camera with him into the bed.
You see him getting under the covers. We're basically hiding under the covers
with him,
with her. And so we were seeing her, but as he sees her, her head turns towards him too. And then like, he's basically it's like, we're hiding. And then he looks again and she's like getting up, or you can see her getting up. Oop.
Yeah.
As he's getting under the covers.
And then he gets back under, and then it's like you can hear her getting closer and closer.
Yeah, and I was like, don't look again, don't look again.
And he does.
And at this point is where I don't think I was actually hiding my face with my pillow, but I was definitely doing this thing, you know, where you like kind of
don't want to look, but you're
like
looking.
tuck your chin into your chest, and you're like trying to look through the tops of your eyelids. Yeah, that's what I was doing there, because I was like, oh fuck, and then of course he looks, and she's
you see her face, and then just like wow,
and then it cuts, and it's creepy.
Yeah,
most of the time I'm not a fan of the face, and it's very
creepy,
believable.
And then
again.
it's like, you know, what happens with footage, it like goes like starts cutting and makes all those
as you're
noises.
editing, because it's film.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now Paul is missing, and
because we wake up the next morning, and who finds it? Tony.
Yeah,
right?
I think Tony
finds the camera, and he's like, "Where are you at, Paul?
Yeah, where the fuck are you?"
They can't find him.
And then Mac is saying, this is what he does. Like, he's just a fuck up. He'll show back up. And then
Alex is like, something happened 4 years ago. Remember when you did that? This is the same thing.
Yeah. And they're like, you're going to hold that against him. Yeah. And then basically Tony's like, have you tried calling him? And they were both like, oh no. And then so Tony, they were both like, I don't have his number. And I was like, how do you not fucking have his number? Yeah. Tony's like, okay, fine. Use my phone. And then so Alex calls him on Tony's phone. And immediately
you start hearing the piano notes,
or it's like screams.
Oh, that's right.
It's very loud.
Phone. That's right. On the phone.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And
I remember.
Then he like basically breaks Tony's phone and then just walks away.
Yeah. And they're like, what the fuck is that? And then Tony's just looking down at it, and they're just like, I don't know.
Yep. And then it cuts to them waking up, and someone is playing the same song Paul was playing in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And this is where we get Tony and Mac going to investigate this time. This is right. This is when they tell Alex and Sarah, like, Alex, you go stay with Sarah.
Yeah.
Tony and Matt get up.
And they're going to go look and check it out, because they all think that it's Paul.
Yeah. And as they're going to check, like, it looks like in a few spots, it looks like someone is kind of standing in some of the entryways behind them. And I had to kind of pause and rewind it a few times to be like, did I really see that? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it was Paul. I do think in some of them it was literally just one of the dummies.
One of the props, yeah.
And I'm just dumb.
A lot of those times the props too for me. I was like, wait, what is that? And I was like, oh no, it's just a prop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
you're not alone.
The thing is playing like kind of the whole time, but as soon as they get to the room, the piano stops.
Yeah. Well, but then they look away from it,
and it goes ding, ding, ding.
And they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
because obviously nothing was in there with them, and they're like, "Where are you at?"
Behind
Paul?
The couch,
and they're like, "Where's he at?" And so they're still looking. And they make their way all the way down to the basement
because they heard some yelling and thumping coming from there. And so Mac and Tony, they're trying to go find him, and basically, one of them is like, "I'm going to go lock the other door so he can't get through." Basically, like, let's
the
corner
storm
him.
cellar door. That's right, the exit.
And so that way we can have him there. And Mac at one point goes, I might just fucking die on these steps. And I was like, bitch, yeah, you fucking might.
Probably later. Yep.
But they go into the basement, and they're going to lock the storm door and stuff like that. And they're basically checking everything.
Yeah. And it's like Tony then sees right whenever they're getting into whatever the storm
cooler of sort. It kind of
like
looked
a pantry. I don't know what it was down there.
It looked like it had those like big doors for like a store cooler, you know, like at a restaurant. The big like
a walk-in.
Yeah, a walk-in. That's the word.
And so they were Yeah, but well, it's because Mac is in there trying to find whatever, and then Tony's out there and he notices that the freaking clowns, whatever, their heads,
All three
of them are like turned and
looking directly
right at
them.
him. So then he jumps in there and he's like telling them like their heads are turned, and they're like, Mac's like, that doesn't make any sense. Do you believe in ghosts or whatever?
And he goes, well, I don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, fuck you, Mac.
Yeah. And so they walk back out there, and Tony's reluctant, but he finally goes back out there, and it's the way that their heads are turned the other way, and so then he's even more like, fuck, like this is
makes it look like maybe his mind's just playing tricks on him and stuff, and it's like, no, like it fucking happened. Like review the camera. It happened.
Yeah, because then they go back upstairs and is it they down there that they find him?
Paul is sitting against the wall.
That's right.
And he's
they finally
looking
found him.
creepy as
He
fuck.
is very creepy. He's non-responsive.
Which, as we've seen from Paul the entire movie,
that's not Paul.
He's very vocal.
Paul talks.
He's not a placent
Yeah.
character. He's very much like.
Yeah,
like,
he is. Remember when we watched Cloverfield, that character
the funny
behind
guy,
the camera,
also the camera
who
guy,
could not stop talking. Yeah, the whole entire time.
Yeah,
who also dies.
Parallels.
And so they finally
also
find
happened
him.
in New
they're
York.
they're trying to like wake him up, but he won't, like, or not wake up, but like trying to get him to respond, but he won't. And so then we cut to the next day.
Yeah,
already
and
after that
they're like, well, Paul's back. Like Tony's saying like something is fucked up.
Yeah.
And they're like, Paul's just being a dick. And Tony's like, he hasn't said a single
that's right,
word
yeah.
since he showed back
because
up.
this is when Tony is like, I quit.
Yeah, he's trying to, like, he's saying, we need to shut this down because some shit is going down.
It's
and
only,
it's not okay.
a day before. Yeah,
It's the day before. Alex is basically, like, writing off everything he says. McNamara is not, like, backing him up, not saying anything to, he was like, you saw this too, dude.
Yeah,
like,
because that's whenever Tony's like, fuck you,
up.
Mac, and fuck you, Alex.
Yeah, and he's just saying, like, he's mad.
Yeah.
Mad. He's like losing his mind on them,
And he
as
walks
he
out.
should.
And then that's whenever freaking McNamara comes up, like yelling behind him, and he's like, "You can't leave, not until you hear this. You don't know you don't know all of it. You got to listen to this." And then
we get a weird,
and then we get a little glitch, and then he tells him something, and then we open up to the most beautiful shot of the movie.
Yep, Tony just sitting in his
sitting
field of grass.
And it's just like beautifully winding by, and he's like.
And we're kind of at an angle because like we're a camera placed on the ground. We got some blades of grass in front of us. Very
and
nice.
He's just like, he's right, I can't leave.
Yeah.
And all this and that, kind of mumbling to himself. And then finally Matt comes back up and he's just like, oh, what'd he say? Like,
he's basically just telling him again, like Max saying he can't leave. And he says, and then Tony's like,
who else
you
knows?
knew, but you didn't tell me.
Yeah.
And like, who else knows? And he said, it's just you, just Alex and Mac know. And at this point I was like, what is it?
Because we don't know, and we don't get told
something, and because of that, they all have to stay.
They all have to say he can't leave.
I don't know. Yeah, we talked about this earlier. We're all confused. Maybe it probably was that he sunk all of his money into it.
Bankrupted them or something. Yeah. Tied all of their money into this one thing.
Yeah, and then it cuts back to Sarah being interviewed, and Diane Sawyer.
Diane von Fastenbug.
The interviewer is basically asking her if everything was ready for opening night and whether or not if Alex was of sound mind.
I love how she was just like, were y'all ready?
Yeah.
Like,
Trying to beat around that, like, is this somehow y'all's fault? Like, did y'all murder people?
Yeah.
And
Sarah was like, yeah, I thought we were.
Yeah.
We were.
And she was just like, what the fuck kind of question is this?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't our fault.
Yeah.
Also kind of was.
It was.
Because you ignored all the signs. But yes. And then so now
we're cutting to opening night, right? And we have all the footage of like all the people being there, and we have like this lady come on and be like, welcome.
And so only 3 actors for the whole house.
That's what
was very confusing.
That's
for
what
me.
I thought too. And I was like, this is a really big, it's a hotel.
Yeah, because I was like, Sarah's not in costume. And 2 of them are stationary, and one's at the door. Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, all of this is a.
And they had other I don't even know. No, because that was the actress who was. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't. They just purely props.
Purely props.
Purely props.
I was like, interesting, because none of the staff was dressed up either.
No.
So I was very confused.
Yeah.
Also, Alex was wearing a tuxedo vest thing over his T-shirt, and I hated that.
Oh,
it was a very terrible move.
Yeah.
I was like, ew.
Very not cute.
But then we're kind of looking through. We see that they've got a good sized crowd lined up.
They really
it's
do.
a really fucking long line.
Because they're peering out over the balcony and they're like, oh, wow, look at all those people.
Yeah. And then we go down to the basement. We see homegirls all locked up and half naked. And it's the way that they have to fucking cut it off of her. And I was like, y'all couldn't have like, why did Mac have to do that? Like, why couldn't her dress be cut
I was
prior?
like, what? Yeah, no.
Like,
and then they're all kind of panning down the boobies kind of thing.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And already we're seeing that there's lots of walkie feedback happening again.
Interference.
Like Tony and Alex are sitting in the control room basically saying like, cue the lights here, do this, or like saying where they need to make things to scare the people.
Because the effects.
Yeah. And they're talking to Mac and he's down there and his walkie isn't making sound. Yeah. And so then one of them's like off to a great start with broken walkies. And then basically Mac hides in a closet.
Yeah, he's in this like kind
it
of
cuts
closet
to the
looking
calamity,
thing.
like everything happening.
Yeah.
And Mac's like hiding in a closet because
Sarah runs in there at some point.
Sarah runs in.
Because I think that was just this point where he was controlling, or maybe he was going to hop out at some certain point or control some of the mechanics behind it. But yeah, because we have Tony and Alex in the control room and they're watching everything at that point. And then that's because it's cutting in footage that we saw from the beginning with new footage.
Which I loved that.
Yeah.
I loved how seamlessly it was starting to put things in.
Together for us. Because we're still looking at stuff that we saw earlier, but then we were seeing like what their side was happening while all the people were walking through. And at a certain point, they're like, why the fuck isn't someone responding or what happened there?
They see the clown guy run past.
That's right. They're like, why the fuck did he leave?
Yeah. And so he tells Sarah, like, run upstairs, see what's going on. Yeah. And so then that's when we get Sarah running out, lining up the footage. So we've seen the clown, we've seen Sarah. And then Sarah said she saw Paul.
Yeah, that's right. She thought she saw Paul looking through her to
that was why she hid.
Yeah, and there with him.
Exactly.
Yeah. She's like, I thought I saw him.
Yeah.
You know? And that's whenever they're like, we don't know what the fuck is going on.
Exactly.
Because then all the chaos is breaking out and they hear it happening.
Flash down to the basement and we see that.
And then we have like that footage that it says of like, what's it called? I forgot what it said in rare footage goer. Whatever.
I think it was just recovered.
Yeah, recovered footage. Something like that. But yeah, and
we're seeing that she's crying, saying, this isn't a part of the show. This isn't part of the show.
It's not a part of the act.
Yeah. And she's clearly like
in distress.
Yeah. And then we also see Joey get up and run there. It flashes to that. So it's showing us all these different
multiple
angles.
Perspectives. Yeah. Basically of the same things that we've seen. And then we have the
cloaked beings.
The things. Yeah.
I don't know what they are. They look like hooded figures.
Yeah.
Almost,
kind of
in
like Harry Potter.
Yeah. The ones.
The Death Eaters.
Yeah.
And the black robes. Oh, you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the. They suck your soul.
Well, not the Dementors, but yes, the Death Eaters. Death Eaters was the word I was trying to think of.
Yeah, they were wearing. Yeah.
And that's kind of looked like that.
Yeah, and then basically we have everybody yelling and screaming and freaking out downstairs in the basement because something's happening. And then it's like cut, and we have this thing getting closer and closer to the people. Finally, we get like a little face attacking the camera, and then we just see a body hanging on the chains. It looked like it like ripped her body apart. I don't know if you noticed that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it's very fast. It's literally like a second of a frame.
Oh wow. Yeah. I'll have to go back and look because I want to see that.
I'll find it for you probably on the YouTube
one. After this, we get Mac basically leading people out, trying to get people out. And then at one point, the door slams shut and he's locked in. And then so he's trying to find another way and go through another door. And then we get that creepy girl there again. Oh, okay. This must be where I saw that because Melissa's still chained up. And now Tony is locked in the fucking basement. And he's just down there. Poor Tony, he's fucked.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened or what. But then Mac and Sarah, sorry, my phone autocorrected. They run up to the attic and find Alex in the beginning of he had hanged himself.
Yeah, they found him and he was hanging himself.
He wasn't
and they're
quite dead
out.
yet because he was still struggling.
They're like trying to get him down.
They're like, hold on, which has got to be so your childhood best friend and your lover, like finding you dying. It's literally
horrific.
Horrific, yes. Yeah. But then all these hooded figures come in and attack.
Literally, same thing. Death Eaters come and attack them. They push you, and that's when you have like the camera falling to the ground.
You see that he is now dead. His arms were limp by his side. And I'm assuming Mac was killed in that instance as well.
Yeah, I would assume so too.
Because he goes down
at some point
and the camera's
throughout
down
all
with
the
him.
chaos. That's the still of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, wait. Who's this person standing naked in the corner, though?
Right? I don't know, because that's where the body was chained. So maybe her soul is now a part of the...
Oh, the house.
Yeah.
It looks like a weird, like, it almost looks like E.T.
Yeah, I see. Oh, the body that's hanging? Yeah, I see what you mean there. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, can you screenshot that?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, so then it cuts back to after that camera breaks there, Sarah asked to take a break. And she said that she's feeling she just needs a little bit of a rest. And they were like, you can sleep here. Like, you know, they're interviewing her in another hotel. And she was like, it's okay. I've already got a room. And she says, just whenever you're ready again, like, I'm going to go rest for a while. Whenever you're ready, come find me. I'll be in room 2C. And she says, if you're really curious about the house, you should just go and see it.
For yourself, yeah.
And so then Diane and Jonathan leave to go see the house. They follow her exactly. And they get downstairs and they ask the front desk.
The
clerk, yeah.
Concierge, whatever you call it.
Yeah, to let Sarah know that they will be back. And the clerk says, and they were like, she's staying in room 2C. And the clerk said, none of our rooms have letters.
Yeah.
And then they say, okay, well, then let Sarah Havel know that we'll be back. And they're like, we don't have a Sarah Havel staying with us, which I'm also pretty sure they're not allowed to tell.
Yeah, any of that information. Yeah.
But, well, and then so Mitchell stays behind to keep cataloging the footage, and he unfortunately finds this weird shit after they already left, and it's too late.
Yeah, so they go off to go look at the freaking Abadon Hotel. What is it called? Abaddon Hotel. And then Mitchell is reviewing the film, and then we get to actually see what really went on the rest of the night, and that is that what's her face picked up the camera. She's picked up the camera. She's walking down, and it's the way that she runs into Paul.
And there's hooded figures all throughout the house behind her. They're kind of like
following her. And she finally gets to Paul, and then she puts the camera down. And we see them like she's giving him an embrace, but then
I just know Paul starts beating the fuck out of her.
She gives him an embrace, but then he's being all weird and quiet, so she kind of backs up, and he grabs the camera and he starts banging her in the head with it, and then she falls to the ground, and then
we see her like basically
gurgling
choking,
on her blood,
dying.
and then she gets dragged away by something.
Yeah, one of the demons, hooded figures, I guess.
And that's the blood that we saw, like the string, the dragged blood, and then we see Paul coming back into frame, just his legs, and then he grabs something, and then he cuts his throat. You can tell
a giant shard of glass.
He cuts his throat and then falls to the ground, and we just see him basically bleed out in front of us.
It's a wonderful, I personally love this shot because yes, the camera is still on the ground because we were watching Sarah's face dying, like as if she was right in front of us. Like, she's laying on the floor,
and then he comes like this, so it's like kind of beautifully.
So she's horizontal, and then he's vertical, and we're just seeing his feet, and we see him bend down, pick up the glass, and then you have to infer a little bit, and you have to remember back to the beginning when they say, "Oh, as soon as we entered the house, because she was almost to the front door, that they found a self-inflicted, like neck cut," and so then you're like, "Oh fuck, that's what he's about to do." And then he does, and you don't actually see him do it, but then you see his body slump down, and then you can see a little bit of his neck, but it's, I thought it was just very well done that it wasn't like in your face gore.
Yeah.
I liked that because, well, that wouldn't be super believable.
A tasteful suicide.
Yes.
But yeah.
And so basically Mitchell's like, yo, what the fuck? I gotta tell them right now that we've been interviewing a dead bitch.
Yeah.
Because she's fucking dead. I just watch her die. And basically Diane's like, oh, it's just Mitchell. I'll call him later.
Yeah.
And she should have answered that phone.
Literally, because then they get in there, they're looking at everything. It's the way they're like, it's funny because she's kind of looking like, and that's the spot from that part, and that's the part from that footage.
She's clearly studied this tremendously in great depth.
And then they finally get up to the rooms, and that's when they see the room 2C, and she's like, oh my God.
And I loved the way that as we were going through with Diane and seeing each of these
all the
things,
same key moments that we saw throughout the film.
Yeah, so like when it flashed on the piano, we got to see Paul like happily playing with Hector. It was almost like paying tribute to each of the members. There was a scene, I think, with Sarah smiling, and when we passed the bar, we saw that first night where they were having drinks around the bar, talking about, we don't talk about queens, all that stuff. And then, yes, that's when she ignores Mitchell's phone call. They get upstairs, and lo and behold, what is the room that her and Alex were staying in? 2C. And her room is in the Abaddon fucking hotel.
Yeah.
It's not in that other hotel. And when they open the door, she's being creepy as fuck, just staring out the window.
Yeah.
And then
like she always does. And then it's the way that turns around, and then there's a hooded cloak person in there.
Yeah, and her face is like gashed open, as it was when she got murdered. Yeah. I put, her face is cut open and they're stuck in her room.
Oh, God. Well, because then we have everybody getting murdered by her or whoever the demons are. And now Diane and that dude, not Mitchell, what's the other? Jacob? Jonathan are now a part of the Abaddon
They're
Hotel
in the house
forever.
as well. Yeah, the hooded figures come to help. Basically, they just kind of flash in. They're like, boop. They what's it? Apparated. Is that the word?
Like an apparition.
Apparated. Isn't that what it's called in Harry Potter?
You disapparate when you leave, and when you come
disappear.
through. Disapparate is when you like disappear.
They're basically there. They help beat the shit out of them, and then basically we just get the camera falling to the floor, and then very much like the ending of Blair Witch. And all of that happened like basically when they enter the room. That's less than a minute.
Oh yeah.
Like, so that ending was very like,
so fast.
Boom, boom, boom.
And then it ends.
Done. And it's like,
camera cuts to
fuck.
black.
Okay.
And then we just get credits.
We get a creepy piano bit. We get the same creepy piano bit that Paul was playing earlier, and a pic of the OG crew with the text saying that no one knows what happened to this day. But yeah, the ending
never will.
Felt a little tad rushed, but I still liked the whole bulk of the film enough to not be too bothered by that, you know?
Overall, I thought the premise of it was really good. A lot better than Hellfest, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I like the concept. I would give it probably like, I'll give it 3 boos.
3 boos?
I'll give it 3 boos. Yeah.
And any other reasons other than what you just said?
Well, the only like, you know what? Maybe I'm being critical in a sense of like an over like genre, like whole horror type of way. But if I put it in perspective of like found footage and documentary style, like type of things, you know what? I'll give it like a 4.
A 4?
Yeah, because it is good for what it is. Like for what it is. It's a documentary style film. You get a little horror, you get a little paranormal in it. It's I guess my only qualm with it is what I have with all found footage films most of the time is just that they make me feel a little nauseous and a little sicky.
Yeah, but hard to watch.
But other than that, like I enjoyed it. I actually thought it was a pretty good premise. I like that even at the end of it, you still don't really know exactly all what really happened, and you just kind of left with this like, wow, this was really creepy, eerie shit.
Yeah,
that's it. And I mean the way that it
stick with you.
And also like I said too, in hindsight now realizing that like this is creeped me out like the night of, and like I'll probably be even creeped out tonight, then it did what it was supposed to do, creep me out.
Exactly. I think in the show notes that I wrote for this one, because I already went ahead and entered them so I wouldn't forget, I was like, it's sure to have you like looking over your shoulder for the rest of the day, because yes, when I started I was trying to remember exactly which one this was, because I was starting to have a bunch. So the House October Built, which is that's the one that I really enjoyed for the Halloween house, like haunted house murders, which I do think, we'll save that for Halloween time, because it's also
and if we can also do this like kind of almost camp one, the one by Wes Craven, The People Under the Stairs. We should do that as well.
Let's do it. Okay,
that'd be cool.
Click save. We're saying this to remind ourselves later. Lots to look forward to. It is halfway to Halloween. We've got 6 months left now. So
that's crazy.
I know. This is Halloween in April. It doesn't have quite the same vibe, but April. It doesn't sound as good as Christmas in July. But
oh, really? Oh, well.
But yeah, so you can start getting in the spooky mood now. But
and how many boos would you give this, Miss Caitlin?
I think I would probably, I was inclined in my head to give it a 3.5, but then now like talking about it,
I know.
and then you saying 4, I was like, you know
and
what?
even me
You're
going
fucking
back
right.
today and looking at it, I was
4.
like, oh, this is pretty good. Like,
This is a film that legitimately, the first time I watch it, it creeped me out. And
it's paced.
when I watched it today, creeped me out.
It's paced well. It goes by just fast.
It does. It's very easy
It's only
to watch.
an hour, 30 minutes.
Yes. Yeah, only an hour and 30 minutes. And then it's just a bunch well-timed events.
Yeah.
That there's no too big of a lull at any point. And yeah, it is that clown face. That was something that like stuck with me. I was like, I can't remember what movie that is, but it creeped me the fuck out. There's also another Halloween movie that I can't remember what that one's called. A haunted house one. Halloween movie. A haunted house movie that also creeped me out, but I'll have to figure out which one that was. Anyways, yeah, I think I'm going to give this a 4.2 because it really actually legitimately did scare me. And that is hard to come by.
Yeah.
Now, there's not a lot of movies that I feel nervous
actually
turning on in my home because I do watch these at home alone in my house filled with dolls and clowns. So
a pretty good sized house too.
Yeah.
Lots of areas for things to be looking scary.
And lots
like
of,
down your hallway if you're just in
exactly,
your living room, or like up the stairs kind of coming down.
I am
Ooh,
always
creepy.
slightly worried something could come down those stairs. And then I hear like creaks upstairs all the time and like bumps, like things like falling, or just the doors will randomly open.
The floors, because they're wood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah, if I don't
They
have,
breathe.
Yeah. So it just the house does breathe. Like it's got a lot of little groans. And so sometimes when I'm sitting there watching these movies alone, I'm like, oh fuck.
That's creepy.
I'm a little scared. And this one was one that I was like, yeah, I'm going to make a conscious choice to not watch this at nighttime. And then I'm also going to pause it occasionally and go get some toast when I need a little break and come back.
Yeah, go back to the kitchen light.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was still watching it in the dark, even though, because I was like, I feel like a little bitch if I turn a light on.
It's a scary movie. You got to have the darkness.
Yeah,
It adds to the ambiance.
Because then a lot of the times horror films are so like dimly lit in their shots that
That's
if
true.
the lights are on, you can't see what's happening.
That's very true.
You need
when
the
I'm watching
lights
horror
to be
movies,
off.
I have to like turn up the brightness on the TV.
Because otherwise it's way too dark. But yeah, so there you have it. A solid 4.
Solid 4 for the Hell
Solid
House
4.
LLC, you guys.
LLC.
Yeah,
Fun.
we made it through.
2015.
No tornado.
No tornado. Yay. And so extra shout out to Rogue Media Network for keeping us safe.
For sure.
Tornado free.
Literally in this little brick studio. More whatever that is. I don't know what that is. It's not even brick. It's like sheetrock.
Plaster.
It's something. Anyways, thank you. But yeah, we're here in the lovely Rogue Media Network studios where you can get all of your lovely dovey podcasts.
You can listen to us, all
from
of them, on a slew of podcast host servers, and the 2 biggest ones being
Oh, that would be Apple Podcasts
and Spotify.
and Spotify.
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 But you can also listen to us and all the other podcasts on
RogueMediaNetwork.com.
That's right. And then if you are listening, don't forget to
rate, review, subscribe, and like, and share.
and word
All
of
of
mouth,
those.
all of those things
Yes.
are the only way we can ever get ahead. If you want t-shirts like we talked about,
Please
we
let us
need
know.
you
Tell
to
us, 'cause,
tell
I mean, those
people.
cost money, and if we're just gonna make them to make them, I mean, we'll still make them.
Yeah,
but
I'm
still.
not like made of money.
But,
And
like,
in the past, I have like fronted big projects like that before and then didn't
No
get the return.
return.
And so it's like, I've been burned one too many times.
Yeah, we'll just be cautious and smart about it. But yeah, if y'all really want sits, just let us know. We'll try to come up with some ideas. Maybe we'll put it on the thing.
Our one social
segue to that. Yeah, our one social media
platform,
which is at Instagram.com at
I mean, if you're online, it is. This is chaotic.
I'm so sorry. I don't know. I think
Instagram.com.
I always bring this energy to the closing part. I'm so sorry.
I love it.
It's on Instagram, and it is. I'll let you do it at
BooBaes podcast, and that is BOOBAES.
because
all one
we
word.
are your
BooBaes, not your boo babes.
Yep.
Yeah. Fuck
And,
that second B.
Yeah.
B.
Until next time, you guys. Good spookins going on. Keep
Good
it haunty.
spookins.
Keep it Friday, and keep it sexy.
Righty. I think also stay tuned if you have Shudder next.
Yes.
Our next 4 episodes are all going to be Shudder
Shudder Originals.
Shudder originals or
You heard it
ones
here
that are
first.
exclusively on Shudder. now that we have a little bit more of a set schedule that we've been doing, I think it would be cool to let people know the week before, because at the beginning we were kind of hesitant to do it because we
don't know when
these
are going to fall.
Yeah,
sometimes.
And now we've kind of got a good set schedule going, so I think be prepared next week. For the next 4 episodes, it's going to be Shudder content, and then we'll let you know what they are, so that way you can maybe prepare by watching it and then listen to the episode with us when it drops. You can watch it Monday night, you can watch it Tuesday morning when I do, or the morning of whenever we record.
I love the energy.
But yeah, so until then,
bye baes.
Bye baes.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.